I would consider it to be like an obsession, like an addiction, because the group has changed so many times, and it just was my little baby that I gave birth to back when I was in art school at College for Creative Studies, and it's been my ticket to see the world. It's been pretty wild.
You're talking about the lineup changes, you're talking about the evolutions of Downtown Brown, but that was something I remember from those days and hasn't changed in 20 years, is you have very magnetic energy. You still are that same person on stage today that I remember seeing 20 years ago, where you just are all over the place, soloing, rolling around, moving, joking, yelling, screaming, singing.
Well, I found out through therapy that that's my inner child, and my truest self is... And I feel like that's why I've been doing this for 20 years and why I continue to do it regardless of whether or not it has brought me, like, fanfare, acclaim, monetary success. It all comes down to, it's the place where I can be my truest form, my childlike self, and not have, and really be free, and really not have any, like, I don't know, like, should I be doing this? Should I be saying this? There's no thought. There's no wall, there's no filter, it's just blah, it's just a complete regurgitation of whatever is inside me and whatever I'm feeling at the time. So to me it's complete and utter freedom, and that's why I'm continuing to do it, because in this world we take on roles, and there are certain things you can do when you're at your day job. You can't just walk into a Kroger and start screaming and throwing stuff everywhere, and when I'm performing with my band I can do that. It's fun.
I mean, you can do that at a Kroger.
I choose not to.
You choose not to, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty mild-mannered, pretty even-tempered.
Take me back 20 years ago. What were your goals and your vision for getting this band started, whether that's, musically or what you would hope would happen with this band?
Oh, I thought we're going to be famous within a year. Like, I was real sure of myself. And what happened in 1998, we played one of these Battle of the Bands where you sell tickets, and I was in high school, and we won. It was at St. Andrews Hall, and I remember having this, like, really religious experience on stage and being like, oh, I'm good at this. So I, like, came swinging out the gate just thinking, yeah, like, I just had this buoyant, youthful confidence that I don't know if it was because of where I was raised, or because I didn't have that confidence in real life. I didn't have it talking to women, and I didn't have it in social settings, but like when I was on stage, I'm like, oh, I own this. And yeah, so I literally thought, yeah, we're going to just get famous, and then the rest is going to fall into place. So it's kind of naive, ridiculous, like young person's view of the world. Just like, oh, this is going to come to me as easy as doing well in high school came to me. Like I got good grades. I did well, and I'm like, this is going to be just as easy. And it's funny because the adult life is very challenging.
I often say you don't really get to choose what life serves you up. What was the reality that you found? Oh,
that because I grew up listening to a lot of 90s music, and I'm just like, okay, well, all these bands, they were very left of center and very weird and very eclectic. And if we can just do this, and it'll all happen. Because in my mind, it's like if you play all types of different styles of music, then you're going to attract all types of different crowds. But like really, it's a lot more calculated than that. You have to have a niche. You have to have an image, and we didn't have any of that. We didn't fit in anywhere. Therefore, that mentality, I came to find out over the years, and I saw other bands that kind of took us under their wing, bands like Fishbone and stuff. It's like, here are bands that can play any style of music, and they do, but it made it very hard for them to market their thing. So we became just another weird band that didn't really fit in anywhere, that could play any show. I mean, we could open up for Andrew WK, we can open up or do a song with Insane Clown Posse, and then we could do like SoCal reggae stuff with Slightly Stupid, and so we got on all these shows. But it's a challenge to cultivate your own audience when you're this exciting live act, but it's kind of, how do you digest something that is so all over the place, What have become those major lessons for you over those past 20 years? Because, we have this great coming out the gate, you're excited, a little naive. Who could blame you? It's an exciting time, right? Yeah. Starting something new creatively. But when you look back, I don't know if you're nostalgic for it or if there's lessons that you've learned about what it actually takes to have a band exist for 2 decades. That doesn't sound easy to me. It just came down to why am I doing this? And because I consider myself to be an artist. I create things, and to this day, I'm just constantly writing music. I've come up with songs that just pop into my head, like as I'm walking down the street, or the song that we're gonna play today. I was in Long Beach, and I just got laid off from my job, and this was pre-pandemic, so I'm just like, I got to go get another job, and then the pandemic happened, and then 10 million people got laid off, and it's just I'm telling a story, and this is my kind of my paintbrush and my canvas is this musical canvas that I just keep painting new pictures, and I'm just keep doing it because I enjoy it. But as far as any of the the grandiose success that I wanted to achieve and whatnot, I think I just had to get to the point where I just am blessed that I'm able to travel and I'm able to make some money and I'm able to continue to do this. 20 years into it, I have a great band. And the people that are involved are top-notch musicians. They're willing to travel, and they're willing to just continue this weirdness and take it wherever it may go. And just trying to be humble and just grateful that, hey, we get to do this thing that not a lot of people get to do. We get to, pop over to Chicago. I get to get on a plane and go to LA, and I get to play with these amazing musicians, and I know these people. And it's about trying to be present in every moment and just be like, this is great. Like, I can still do this. I can still be a little kid, and I can still run around and say ridiculous stuff. And it's, yeah.
It's almost like a blue-collar musician's dream where it's sustaining. Your expectations get checked in the way where it's like, yeah, it's not grandiose fame, but I do have a band of guys that can get up and go with me and follow this dream I have and make that happen.
Well, and what's cool is along the way, a lot of the people that I collaborate with, they add their own sauce to it. So it's really become this mutant kind of collective where the last album I did in 2018, I had guys from Fishbone play on it, I had guys from Sublime play on it, I had guys from Parliament Funkadelic play on it, I had guys from Lynyrd Skynyrd play on it, and then I have these weird Detroit musicians and these weird LA musicians, and it's just this big, weird family where everyone kind of is just throwing their idea into the hat, and I'm kind of the ringleader, and it's an amalgamation of all these different people, and it has been for years. Like a lot of really eccentric, weird human beings have found their way into my life, and we've made love and made little babies together.
Little musical babies.
Yeah. So it's cool. I can't, honestly, and we were talking about drinking, and we were talking about therapy. There was a time in the mid-2000s where I was drinking really heavily and I was very depressed. I didn't even know what depression and anxiety were, but I had been self-medicating since high school. So there was a time where I legit didn't think I was going to make it to 30. I legit was like, I'm going to die young and I'm going to be like Jim Morrison, fat, drunk, and on a toilet. And that's just what's going to happen to me. And then it got to a point where I didn't want to live like that anymore, and I got sober, and it's been 13 years since I had a drink. And so, the way I look at it, we got in a crazy car accident, too, where we flipped the van on a Michigan highway on some black ice, and there's just been so many instances where it's like, okay, I feel like I'm living on some sort of borrowed time, so I have to constantly check myself and be like, hey, as much as this didn't happen for you, and as much as this didn't go well for you, and as much as your wildest dreams didn't come true, you're still alive, and you still can do the thing you like. So
I like it.
Yeah.
It feels real.
It is. This is real. This is my life.
Well, I was going to ask you, I'm sure there's been changes that you've gone through. I mean, I wonder if you would have been able to do those things without the band. I also wonder if you would have been in that situation at all if you weren't in the band.
Well, that's a question I ask myself too, because literally everything about my life is structured around the band. Like the band is how I met my current girlfriend out in LA. And then the pandemic happened. I dragged her to Michigan. It was her idea. She's like, let's live a modest life in Michigan where the cost of living is way cheaper. So if I wouldn't have met her in 2012, I mean, we have 2 cats. So everything comes down to the band was the catalyst for every single adult decision I've made since the band started, which is really weird to think that. Yeah, my life would be totally different. I mean, before I started doing this, I was at Michigan State, and I didn't know if I wanted to be like a musical educator. And my sister's a choral music instructor, and she does the 9 to 5 teaching kids how to sing. And there's merit in that. It's a beautiful thing, but I wanted to perform. I just knew since I was in 3rd grade, I like to get up in front of people and make a ASS out of myself.
So we're going to play a new piece of music from you to celebrate this 20th anniversary. But tell me, like, what's the game plan for Downtown Brown this year to mark this occasion?
Just shows, and we're doing festival dates, and we're doing local stuff, and then we're doing regional stuff, and then a weird turn of events as well. I got hired to be the singer of the punk band Reagan Youth out of New York City. So I'm currently have 2 tours booked with them where I'm going to be touring the East Coast and the West Coast, and we'll see how all that goes because the Delta variant is the landscape, and the touring landscape is changing per day. Shows are getting canceled, tours are getting canceled, and then the protocol as far as venues and whatnot is changing constantly. So we'll see if any of this live stuff sticks. And in my spare time, I make content. I have a podcast, and I'm going to continue just to make Downtown Brown stuff. Maybe not like full albums, but kind of go the singles route where do a single, do a video. Because I do video editing now, and I'm like getting really into that. So the video that comes out for this song, my friend Carmel actually filmed it, but I directed it and edited it. So it's I just want to make stuff before I die. I just want to make cool stuff. And it's my mantra at this point. I wrote on the door to my studio, I just wrote on a little piece of paper, make cool stuff before you die. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Like the band is still, as long as I'm alive, I'm going to do this band because it's me. It's an extension of myself. It's my child screaming out into the Kroger air.
So Neil, go ahead and set up this track. Tell me a little bit of what it's about.
This song is a very literal song. It's called Laid Off. It's about getting laid off. I was laid off, and then 10 million people got laid off. So the first verse starts off me being sad and kind of, moping about being laid off and having to get another job that I don't like. And then by the second verse, it's like everyone's laid off and the world is on fire and we're in a global pandemic. So,
yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Neil P., the creative force of Downtown Brown, celebrating 20 years of organized chaos on a stage. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. I remember that we were talking about those all ages venue. Remember the guy at Muggs said, Downtown Brown will never be anything more than a bar band. And then flash forward to 2017, and I'm playing at the House of Blues in Anaheim, California, in front of 1,500 people. Now we do have our crappy gigs, but we weren't just a bar band. We became a nationally touring band and put out lots of albums, and it was people like that challenged me to be like, no, I'm not going to accept your prediction of what I'm going to be.
Guy from Muggs. You can meet Neil at the flagpole at 3 o'clock.
Oh, man, I'm going to fight that guy.
Neil, thank you so much.
Thank you, dude.